Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel and to the last video of 2023. My name is Clémence and today I'm going to present all the books I read this year. So let's get started! I started the year by reading Once Upon a Broken Heart by Stephanie Garber. I talk about this book a lot because it is now my favorite book series. I absolutely loved it. It's the story of Evangeline who lives in Valenda and the guy she is in love with is about to marry her sister. So she makes a deal with a fate called Jax to try and stop the wedding. Unfortunately, it doesn't go as planned, as you can never trust a fate. And yeah, after making this deal, Evangeline has to go to the magnificent north to go to a ball to meet the prince of this other country to represent Valenda. And yeah, this book is just a story of her and Jax. It is really cute, it's a romance, and yeah, I absolutely love that book. I cannot stop thinking about it. I would totally recommend it if you don't know which book to begin with. If you want to get into fantasy, I would totally recommend that one. Or even if you just haven't read it and you love fantasy, I would totally recommend it. Yeah, so that was the first book I read this year, and then because I absolutely loved it and loved Stephanie Garber's writing, I went into reading the Caraval trilogy. Caraval is about Scarlett and her sister Donatella. Scarlett has to go to Caraval, which happens every year or every 4 years, I don't remember exactly. It's like this really magical show that happens. You don't know where it happens, but the location changes every time. And this time it happens on an island where Scott has to go, and she has to try and win the game in order to save her sister. And she receives the help from Julian. And yeah, I just really love that book. It was giving a bit of circus vibes. It was really magical, but also you had a bit of mystery. What will Scarlett have to do in order to save her sister? But also the fact that it was in the middle of a show and the middle of the game was a really interesting setting, and I absolutely loved it. So I think I give that book 5 stars. And the same goes for Legendary and Finale, which I read right after. 5 stars, and I absolutely loved them in this trilogy. My favorite book was Legendary, so the second book, which was about Donatella, and it was really focused on Legend, who is the owner of Caraval. So yeah, I absolutely love these books, and I would totally recommend them to you, just like Once Upon a Broken Heart. If you haven't read them, please do read them. They are amazing, and yeah, couldn't put the books down when I was reading them. It was amazing and really magical, so I totally recommend it. And then I just could not wait to read the second book in the Once Upon a Broken Heart trilogy, so I bought and read immediately The Ballad of Never After. It was my favorite book out of this trilogy. I absolutely loved it. I loved Jax in it. I loved Evangeline as well. I feel like Evangeline is the book character I relate to the most. You know, like I absolutely love her, and I loved Jax in this book. The setting was magical. Discovering the Hollow as well was amazing. And yeah, I just bawled my eyes out at the end of the book. I cannot say what happened because spoilers, you know, but it was absolutely amazing, and it just ended on such a cliffhanger that I could not wait for the third book that was coming months later, because I read this book in January and the third book and last book in the series came out in October, so that was 10 months to wait for the next book. But it was such a great book. I still think about it to this day, and yeah, I would totally recommend reading it. Then I read Twin Crowns by Catherine Doyle and Catherine Weber. This one I gave 4 stars to. because I didn't like it as much as the previous books I just talked about. It was a dual point of view, which I'm not really a big fan of, especially because each chapter seemed to hang on a cliffhanger, and then you have the chapter of the other sister. So it was a bit annoying that you would end on a cliffhanger and then have the point of view of the other character. So a whole chapter to have the rest of the story. And yeah, that was just a bit annoying. Otherwise, I really liked it. First of all, because Ren is a witch, so you have a bit of magic in it. Also, you have romance, but because it is a dual point of view, you have the romance with Rose, the first sister, and then you have the romance with Ren, the second sister. So it was really nice. Basically, you have two tropes in one. You have the friends to lovers and enemies to lovers, I would say, and it was really nice, but the romance was not too heavy in this book, and yeah, I really enjoyed it, and I'm going to read the second book at some point, which is Cursed Crowns. It came out a few months ago, so I still have to read it. After that, I went on reading the Shadow Me series from Tara Maffey. I read only the 6 main books. I did not read the novellas and still haven't. I don't know when I will read them, but I really wanted to read the 6 books. I dedicated even a whole video to the series. I really liked the first 3 books and unfortunately didn't like the last 3 as much. My favorite out of this series was Ignite Me, so the 3rd book. This one was a 6 stars out of 5. I absolutely loved it. It was amazing, and this series as a whole was a 5 stars, even though some books were 4 stars or even 3. I didn't really like the last one. The first half of the book was just really slow, and the writing was not that great in that book, so I didn't really like it as much. But the second half was nice. Defy Me, also the 5th book, was really surprising because it was actually really good, even though I didn't like the 4th book and the 6th book. So yeah, that was the Shadow Me series, and then I went on reading another series, a really big one as well, which is ACOTAR, because I really wanted to read a fantasy series but also romantasy, and I really wanted to read new adult romantasy this time and not just YA. So yeah, I read ACOTAR by Sarah J. Maas. The first book I didn't really like it. I gave it 4 stars. It was still nice, but I think what's really saved it for me was the second half of the book, because the first half of the book with Tamlin, I didn't really like it. I really liked the part when Feyre was under the mountain. I will not give spoilers on that part, but I think it was great. It was really my favorite part of the book, and everything that was before that I did not really like. And I know some people loved Tamlin in the first book. I hated him from the start, which contributed to this not being a 5 stars. But yeah, that was ACOTAR, 4 stars, and then I went on reading the rest of the series. I really liked The Court of Mist and Fury, so the second book. It was 5 stars because I loved Rhysat. I had to look how to pronounce his name and the name of all the characters in this book, to be honest, because it was impossible to pronounce. But yeah, I really liked Rhysat. I loved the Night Court. It was amazing. And I know Akamath is usually people's favorite book in the series, but for me, I liked Akawar, so Court of Winds and Ruin, even more, third book. Because, well, I love the war setting and everything. It was really nice, and I just could not put the book down. That one was my favorite, at least for Feyre and Rhysat's part. Because, yeah, just the war setting was really nice. It was really well written, in my opinion. And then there was A Court of Frost and Starlight. I know a lot of people did not like that book, that novella. But I absolutely loved it. I loved the just cozy Christmas vibes. It was a nice Christmas book, even though I read it this summer. But yeah, it was really nice and I absolutely loved it. And this one, unlike the previous three, was multiple POV. So we had the POV of course, Feyre, Rhysand, but also Cassian, Nesta, and I think Azriel for one chapter. And it was really nice and more also. Yeah, there was also more. So it was really nice to see what every character was thinking, and it was, unlike Twin Crowns that I talked about earlier, it was really well written. Each chapter was complementing each other. So yeah, it was really nice, and to also get to discover the other characters, and especially in Nesta and Cassian for the next book. It was really nice. So I really liked Court of Frost and Starlight for that. And then there was Court of Silver Flames, which is my favorite book in the series. I thought when I was reading the previous ones that it would be Aquar, because I heard that a lot of people did not like A Court of Silver Flames as much. It's either you love it or you hate it, but I absolutely loved it. I really liked Nesta's character development, and I really like to see Cassian's point of view as well. I think the story in this book was really nice, and the fact that it was not just about Feyre and Rhysand again. It was a nice change, and yeah, I just loved the story with the relics and everything. It was a really nice book, and I was surprised in this book that I did not like Rhysand as much as I did in the other books. I feel like we saw another aspect of his personality that I did not like at all. But yeah, A Court of Silver Flames was absolutely amazing, and just this series overall was as well. So it was definitely 5 stars, except for Akatar, which was only 4. But yeah, I would totally recommend reading the series. It was absolutely amazing. Then after reading 2 long series, I just wanted to read one single book that would be much shorter to read. So I decided to finally read The Stolen Hair that was sitting on my bookshelf for months. It is by Holy Black. It is part of the sequel duology of the Folk of the Year series, which I absolutely loved. So yeah, just wanted to read the first book in this duology. The second book is coming on the 5th of March, I think. And I really liked it. It was about Oak, so Jude's little brother, if you have read the Folk of the Year series, and also Surin, who is the Queen of the Court of Teeth. And I really like to see the story. It was not happening in Elfane per se, but it was really nice to see their story and it happening years after the events of the first books. So yeah, I really liked it. It was really nice written, and also it ended on cliffhanger, so I cannot wait to read the next book. I don't remember if I gave it 4 stars or 5 stars, but I just remember I really liked it. And yeah, that was a nice way to cut between reading a really long series. So yeah, and then I went on reading Powerless by Lauren Roberts. I think it's her first book, and if you haven't read it yet, I totally recommend it. For me, it was amazing. Absolutely loved it. I love Payden. Payden is living in a kingdom where it is illegal to not have any powers, and if you don't have any powers, you are killed by sort of assassin of the kingdom or something. And so she has had to hide all her life that she doesn't have any powers, and that is until she's thrown into the kingdom trials, and she has to act as if she does have power in order to save her life. And at the same time you have she meets Kai, who is the son of the king, and first of all she of course has to act as if she had power in front of him, but also there's like a romance starting between them, and it's really nice. Enemies to lovers, I think it is. I really like that story. So yeah, I cannot wait to read the second book, which is Reckless. That's coming out on the 4th of July. So many months to wait to read the second book, but it was absolutely amazing. So if you haven't read it yet, I would totally recommend reading it. Then we have Bride of the Shadow King. And not gonna lie, I picked this book solely based on the cover because I thought it was so pretty. It has this iridescent shine on it that makes it absolutely gorgeous. It's a story of the arranged marriage between Thor, I think that's his name, the name of the guy. He's like a sort of fae, troll fae, and one of the princesses from Farane's kingdom. So either Farane or one of her sisters. And yeah, the story is about who will he marry. And I really like this book. It was really nice. I think I gave it 4 or 5 stars. That was 4 or 5 stars. I don't really remember. But it was really nice. First of all, because I haven't really read any books about an arranged marriage before, so it was really nice. And also, it was set in a really magical setting with fairies, which I absolutely love. And yeah, I just love the story. It was really nice. It was easy to read, and I cannot wait to read the second one because of the events that happened at the end of the first book that I cannot talk about because of spoilers. But yeah, it was a really nice read, and I can't wait to read the second book, which is Vow of the Shadow King. That will be part of my winter TBR. And then at the end of October, there was A Curse for True Love from Stephanie Garber that came out. So the last book in the Once Upon a Broken Heart series. I give it 5 stars. I know some people were a bit disappointed with this book. It did not meet all their expectations. But there was one thing that happened in this book that made it really good to me. There was one thing that I didn't really like about this book is the fact that it was multiple POVs, and I would have liked more of Jack's point of view, and we got a lot of Apollo's point of view, and he is a character that I absolutely hate. So that was not that good, but otherwise I just really like this book, and so it was still a 5 star for me. But I think it was also due to the fact that I absolutely loved the 2 previous books. This series was amazing. And then I decided to finally read Fourth Wing after reading so many things about it and seeing so many people talk about it on Instagram, on TikTok, on YouTube, everywhere. So I finally read it, a book with dragons in it, which I haven't read in ages. It was absolutely amazing. I gave it 5 stars. It was a really long book, yes, but it was so nice. I really like the enemies to lovers romance in it. I absolutely loved Xaden Ryerson. He was amazing. I loved the dragons in it. I loved Violet. I loved the War College ambience. Everything was perfect in this book. Absolutely loved it, and I totally recommend reading it. So 5 stars for me. And then of course I had to read Iron Flame that came out in November. I am still reading it. I have like 100 pages left, but I should finish it before the end of the year. And yeah, I think this one will be a 5 star as well for me. Unfortunately, I saw some spoilers of the ending on Instagram, so I already know what's going to happen, and I'm so sad about it. But yeah, I think if I read it without seeing the spoilers first, I would have been shocked about it. And I already know I will want to read the 3rd book in this series, which is going to come out on the 1st of December 2024. So almost a year to wait, but yeah, this series is really amazing. I absolutely love it. Then I think I might read one more book before the end of the year if I have time to do so. So either I'm going to read The Serpents and the Wings of Night by Carissa Broadbent, or I am going to read Emily Wall's Encyclopedia of Fairies, which I was supposed to read for my autumn TBR. So yeah, I don't know which one I will read before the end of the year. If I don't finish them, then they will be part of my 2024 reading wrap-up. Or if I do finish one of them, then I will add it to this video, and the other one would just be part of my winter TBR. So yeah, these are the last books I'm going to read this year, and yeah, I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. And please tell me which was your favorite book of the year in the comments down below. I will make sure to read it. And yeah, I will see you next time in my winter TBR video. Bye!